countries during Carnival? I don't know a lot. I mean, I know some things, but I don't know what you may have in your background or history or anything.
Usually the Catholic Church, I can't, well, based on what my friends told me because I'm not Catholic, but they usually go to a lot of church services.
Yeah.
And they do like this ash where they put some ashes on
Yeah,
your
some people put
forehead.
ash right on your forehead.
Yeah, you're not supposed to wash it off.
Right, yeah, exactly. So there are different traditions in different countries. There are some countries that start celebrating like in January. Other countries don't celebrate much. It's more like she said, a religious thing where you go to church a lot and different customs. So it really depends what country you're in and what you're doing. So, well, you see some pictures of clowns. This is typical for Germany. I have a few more pictures.
They're just
Details. Depending where you are in Germany, the celebrations are going to be different. The biggest celebration, the one that's really world famous for Carnival, is in Cologne. What's the German name of Cologne, the city? Köln. Köln. Not Köln.
Köln.
Yeah.
Köln.
Köln is really a beautiful city. It's a big city in the western part of Germany. It has a huge cathedral and lots of big boulevards and streets where people hold parades. So that is the one place where they really celebrate Carnival. You can see some pictures of people dressing up. In some ways it's like our Halloween, right? Everybody dresses up, everybody wears some sort of costume. They don't go trick-or-treating, there isn't anything like that. Instead they have big parades, people throw candy off of the floats, and sometimes there's beer or whatever for adults, yeah. So, I mean, depending on where you are, the celebrations can be different.
Deutsch beer.
Monday and Tuesday are the big parades, the celebrations. On Thursday, meaning this last Thursday that was already passed, there's something that starts in Cologne called the Weiberfastnacht. Do you know what a Weib or Weiber are? It's another word for a woman, but it's kind of a mean word for a woman. It's like a wench or something like that.
Oh.
Okay, so it's the wenches Thursday. Up until 1823, women were not allowed to be in these celebrations. So it was all men partying, drinking beer, having their parades and everything. But in 1823, I guess the women got tired of being left out. So they all went on strike. They all left their houses and their workplaces. And they went out and they started cutting off men's ties. You know, that tradition of cutting off the man's tie. And basically being free to do whatever they wanted to do, the women. So on Thursday still in Germany, they have this tradition of the women's, or the wenches Carnival, Weiberfastnacht, which is primarily when women go out and party. They might go out and kiss men or cut off their ties.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, do they still cut off the ties in tradition?
They do still cut off the ties, yes.
Just in tradition?
Yeah. You can kind of see that in this picture. It's kind of hard to see, but she has
Not
a
far
big
left?
pair, the left one, yeah. She has a big pair of plastic scissors that she's cutting off.
That's not gonna cut it.
I don't know. All right, and just a little bit more. We've already talked about the parades.
Is he biting her butt?
Yes.
Oh, it's Obama. Obama and Hillary.
Oh my god. Wow.
Oh, that's racist. They're calling him a dog.
It may be it may be racist. It may be offensive. In fact,
That's
a
funny.
lot of these parade floats and things like that are very political. You see the Obama and Hillary one. These others that you're seeing are maybe German politicians. I can't even necessarily recognize them, but Germans in the town would know what they were talking about and referring to. So there's
They
no.
care about.
Is that a pig coming out of
That is a pig coming out of a
Little house.
house and sneaking up on a man. I don't know what it's supposed to symbolize. You can make your own ideas about that. There obviously is a story there, but I don't know it. The point is, they're political protests in many ways. If you think back over the years, centuries ago, people weren't really free to express their political opinions, right? They were pretty oppressed. But during this time, which dates back many years, this was the one time when they could really speak out, get their opinions out in the open, make fun of politicians and leaders and kings and things like that. So it was really kind of a topsy-turvy, upside-down time when the people, the normal townspeople on the bottom, had the power to say whatever they wanted, do whatever they wanted. It has a political tradition that way. And almost last page. One other thing in Cologne is the election of a triad called the Dreigestirn, 3 stars, right? Dreigestirn. I don't know the tradition other than they elect these people to be sort of like the homecoming king and queen, right? You have a leader of the carnival celebrations. The unusual thing about them is that you're supposed to have one prince, Prinz Karneval, one peasant, der Bauer, der Kölner Bauer, and one maiden, they say Jungfrau.
That's a girl?
Well, it's supposed to be a girl, but the tradition is that it's a man dressed up as a girl.
You know, you see that all around California.
You basically elect 3 men. They don't elect any women to this position, but one of them dresses up as a woman.
Which one's supposed to be the female?
Which
Oh,
one's
that's far
supposed to
left.
be the female? I think the one with the braids. It's kind of hard to tell.
Oh, I get it.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
Punch him in the face.
It's not like you don't do that for a living.
All right, and
I did once.
Like a family guy. He ends up being a girl.
just one note about the name. So I've been calling it Karneval, and that is probably, I'm calling it that because that's the biggest celebration, especially the one in Cologne. It's called Karneval. But there are different names to them. You see, in the western part, Karneval. In the northern part, Fastnacht. And in the southern Bavaria and Austria and things like that, Fasching. They all mean the same thing, but they all come from different backgrounds. Carnival, for those of you who speak Spanish, carne is meat, right? And in Latin, carne valis meant goodbye meat or farewell to meat. Right? So they don't eat meat after this point. So it was a celebration saying goodbye meat, we can't eat meat anymore. So Carneval comes from Latin or Italian name. And Fastnacht, you know the English word fast, right? You don't eat for a
Fast.
certain
Yeah,
time.
to fast.
Yeah, to fast for a religious reason. So that it's the same in German. Fasten is to fast. So Fastnacht, the night of
No
fasting.
eating. Yeah, that's a no eating.
Yeah, the night of no eating. Fasching is a lot more complicated. Nobody really knows where the word comes from. Maybe related to fasting, fasten, something. Or it may be related to the German word Fass, which is a barrel for wine or beer. So it may come from breaking out the barrels of beer or something like that. Nobody is really sure on that. The main point is you have 3 words for the same thing. And the Carnival word is probably the biggest celebration.
Good.
Okay, just a note on other places other than Germany. Where else do you celebrate this type of thing? There's one very famous place right here in the United States.
Oh, New Orleans.
New Orleans, right? New Orleans. New Orleans.
Mardi Gras. Woo!
Yeah, Mardi Gras is exactly the same time.
And it's on my
Exactly
birthday.
the same. Oh, very good.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same
February 24th.
idea, the background of Carnival. Other countries, there's 2 other big places around the world that celebrate this. Rio de Janeiro.
It's because it's on my birthday, they want to celebrate me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's gotta be it.
Hundreds of years ago, they knew you were coming.
They knew I
and
was coming.
They knew they would start these celebrations.
Just kidding.
Yeah, so Rio has big carnival kind of things. They have huge parades. They have something called the Samba Drome. I don't actually speak Portuguese. Called Samba Drome, which is parades of samba dancers going out into the streets and dancing all through these parades. Venice